The news hour coming to you live from the studios of Hits the Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from Hits the Freak Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitsthefreakradio.org. It's the Freak Radio News Hour live.
Good morning. It's exactly 10 past the hour, 7 o'clock GMT in the studios of Hits Africa Radio. We are transmitting live on Facebook and YouTube at Hits Africa Radio. My name is Abena AhWINIE, your uncle this morning. Stay tuned as I bring you the news headlines. Don't let people feel marginalized in Ghana. Malaria in Islam. Aggrieved KJT buyers threatened to petition. Court is the only place to determine if Rastafarianism is a religion or not. I didn't know I would marry this year, says Wise Agreed. These and many other stories I bring your way this morning. Stay tuned as I bring you the news in details. Don't let people feel marginalized in Ghana. An economist, Mr. Kwame Pianim, has asked the government to address the development regarding the controversial history textbook or Face the Wrath of the People. Speaking in an interview with TV3's Etanam Say, Mr. Pianim said in reaction to the degrading textbooks that if you are in a group and you know that there are people who are non-Arabs, non-Akans, use English language. This is what we were taught. Don't let somebody feel that I don't belong here. This country is for all of us, and people should not be made to feel marginalized. Meanwhile, the head of the Catholic Bishop Conference, the Most Reverend Philip Name, has said the publication of the controversial textbook that seeks to denigrate ours in Ghana is unbenefiting of the Akufo-Addo administration. Moving on to other stories, malaria in Islam, SDG 3 and marriage. Slum dwellers in Dagomba line are advocating for periodic larvicide to help curb the high incidence of malaria in the slum. They say their mosquito nets have not been effective because of the nature of the environment. The National Malaria Control Program is targeting malaria elimination and zero malaria death by 2030, in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 3. The Gomba line, popularly known as Bola Bola, is one of the biggest slums in the Ashanti region. Sanitation is an enclave in a major issue. Lack of a toilet facility is in the open. Refuse is also dumped indiscriminately. The dwellers here are mostly from the northern parts of the country who travel down south to look for jobs to sustain their livelihoods. The women are mostly head porters, known in the local police as kayayes, with the men settling in the scrap business. Inhabitants here are prone to incessant mosquito bites. Those who can't afford a wooden structure has no option than to sleep in the open. They become prey to mosquitoes. Research has shown pregnant women and newborn living in malaria endemic areas are vulnerable. Malaria is our major sickness here, especially my 2.5-year-old child, lamented Sadia Siddiq. She said, every time we go to the hospital, they say we have malaria. Another head porter, Aisha, expressed worry the slum dwellers have never benefited from the free mosquito net, and we do not have the net, so we use mosquito coil, but we still get malaria. When they share the net, they don't bring some here because we are headquarters, but we want to tell them we are human beings too, so they should bring some of the free net here. At the Gomba line, over-the-counter drug shops are spotted at vantage points. Anti-malaria drugs dominate the drugs sold in these shops. One of the sellers, Abdul Ganiu, revealed patronage of anti-malaria drugs are always on the increase and sometimes run out of shop. Ghana is currently on the control phase of malaria elimination and zero malaria deaths. The National Malaria Control Program has instituted a number of interventions which include distribution of long-lasting treated mosquito nets and larvicidin where breeding places of the mosquito larvae are sprayed. But chairman of the United Kayaye Caucus, Abubakar Aminu, does not recollect the last time the women were supplied with a net or their drains sprayed. We have never seen distribution of nets or fumigation that they do have never seen some before. They should pay serious attention to this place. At a Riam clinic, which is situated near the slum, medical director Dr. Gabriel Boache mentioned malaria as one of the leading OPD cases, with some patients coming from the slum. He wants a total re-engineering of the place as a measure in reducing the malaria cases from the community. Definitely, some of the cases recorded at our clinic here are from the slum, but the National Malaria Control Program cannot eradicate malaria completely in the slum because then place needs re-engineering with drains and improved living conditions, Dr. Boache emphasized. He persisted that so long as the slum dwellers continue to live in those insanitary conditions, malaria will continue to be a problem. Asokore Mampo Municipal Health Director stated confirmed malaria cases have since 2018 seen a decline from 70,000 to 3,000 in 2020. He believes is a result of intensified inversions such as distribution of the mosquito net and selective larvicidin. We do our best to do spraying periodically. We demarcated about 17 sites where there are a lot of slums and stagnant water to kill the larvae. As Ghana, through the National Malaria Control Program, strategies to eliminate malaria and attain zero malaria deaths in conformity with SDG 3, which aims to the end of epidemic of AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria by 2030, more focus should be targeted at the slums across the country. In other stories, aggrieved KJTR traders threatened to petition Democratic Corps. KJTR traders last year demonstrated against the project. Traders at the newly built KJTR market have threatened to petition some diplomats and embassies to escalate their grievances if a 2-week ultimatum they gave city authorities expires. The aggrieved traders say due to excessive leakages, goods in almost all shops in the market are destroyed after every downpour, with those who own shops at the ground floor the hardest hit. They explain their shops are always sunk by flooding whenever it rains, a situation they say makes access to our shops difficult. Sometimes the placed water enter our shops and soak all our goods, one of the traders complained. The traders say the situation was persistent for almost 2 years, and they believe it's about time city authorities fixed the problem. While speaking on Akoma FM's Ghana Akoma on Wednesday, March 24th, spokesperson for the traders Andrews Kofi told host Ejinaba Kofi Asante Inin that we have to register our displeasure for the world to know exactly the defect this huge edifice has developed few years after its completion. This, I believe, will ensure similar defects do not occur after the second phase of the KJTR redevelopment project is completed. Nevertheless, we expect management of this market and city authorities together with the contractors to, as a matter of urgency, solve the leakages in the roof before our 2-week ultimatum is due. The traders are also crying over what they describe as exorbitant electricity bills, as they say your monthly bills do not correspond to the point of electricity they consume. Can you believe this whole market with over 1,000 shops have only 1 meter for all electrical equipment? So, when it comes to sharing of bills amongst us, there are serious disparities. Mr. Kofi added, I believe sometimes they just look at our face and give your electricity bill because the charges ranges from 70 Ghana cedis to 200 Ghana cedis per month. The traders, who seem to be frustrated by the destruction of their goods caused by leakages in the roof and the hikes in electricity bill, say after the 2-week ultimatum is due, they will petition some embassies to escalate their concerns to the diplomats and other international agencies. In other stories, court is only the avenue to determine whether Rastafarianism is a religion or not. For the court to make any meaningful headway in bringing a finality to the standoff between authorities of Achimota School and the parents of the two senior high students who were denied admission because of their dreadlocks, a private legal practitioner had indicated the court will first determine if the Rastafarianism is a religion or an association. Authorities at the Achimota School last week refused the two children admission unless they cut their dreadlocks because the school's rules do not permit that. The Ghana Education Service (GES) had in an earlier statement directed the headmistress of the Achimota School to admit the students. We have asked their headmistress to admit the students. The student is a Rastafarian, and if there is evidence to show that he is a Rastafarian, all that he needs to do is to tie the hair neatly. The Director General of the GES, Professor Kwesi Opoku Amankwa, told reporters. Moving on to other African countries, in Rwanda. Hotel Rwanda hero to be tried in absentia. A high court in Rwanda has decided to continue with the terrorism trial of a man portrayed as a hero in the 2004 Hollywood movie by the Rwanda genocide. Earlier this month, Paul Rusesabagina said he would not appear in court again as he did not expect justice. On Wednesday, the court said the trial would continue if he would not appear without valid reasons. The judge said Mr. Rusesabagina still had a right to appear in court before the trial is concluded. Mr. Rusesabagina and 20 others are accused of terror charges related to deadly attacks in Rwanda in 2018 and 2019 by the FLN, the army wing of the Rwanda Movement for Democratic Change, MRCD, a coalition of opposition parties of which he is vice president. The other suspects appeared in court on Wednesday to enter their plea. A fierce critic of Rwanda's president Paul Kagame, he was detained in unclear circumstances in Dubai last August. He says he was illegally abducted to fly to Rwanda, but the court said he was tricked and must stand trial. He became famous after Don Cheadle played him in the 2004 film Hotel Rwanda, which depicted his effort to save hundreds of people from being murdered during the 1994 genocide. He left Rwanda in 1996 and sought asylum in Belgium, and later obtained a green card for the US, becoming involved in opposition politics in exile. His lawyers have denied the charges against him. Moving on to other stories in Africa. South African Zulu nation appoints Queen as regent. South Africa's powerful Zulu nation has appointed a new regent in the person of Queen Motufambi Magdalene Zulu, one of the 6 wives of the deceased King Goodwill Zwelithini. The late king's will was read today in the presence of Prime Minister of the Zulu Nation, Chief Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who said the Queen's appointment was in line with King Zwelithini's wishes. His lawyers and some 200 members of the royal family met on Wednesday for the reading of the will. Local media portals had reported days ago that the Queen would take over till a new regent was picked. Today's announcement makes it official as Zulus await the process leading to selection of a new king. The new regent, Queen Madlamini Zulu, is the late king's third wife and sister to Mswati III, the monarch of neighboring Eswatini. A 3-month mourning period is to be observed by the royal family, following which further discussions about the king's successor will be taken, Chief Buthelezi added. The loss of His Majesty the King has been a tremendous blow, and the family must be allowed to grieve. However, the regent and the royal family have asked that I impress on the nation the late king's wish for the people to take out their gardening hoes on Friday, March 26th, he added. The late king was buried at a nighttime, all-men private ceremony last week. President Cyril Ramaphosa took active part in the funeral leading to the burial. The king is not dead. Kings don't die, Ramaphosa said in a condolence tweet. Zulus believe the king does not die and that he had been planted. Zwelithini, an influential traditional ruler, died at the age of 72, having been monarch for 5 decades. He is survived by 6 wives and at least 26 children. Here lies the end of the local stories. Stay tuned as I bring you the foreign news.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to Hits Africa Radio. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Hits Africa Radio. Don't forget to bring in your comments, subscribe, like, and share our page. You can as well follow us on all our social media handles at Hits Africa Radio. Don't forget to log on to our website for more news and entertainment at www.hitsafricaradio.org. Now let's do some foreign stories. New York's Cuomo insists he can still do job amid scandals. Andrew Cuomo insisted on Wednesday that he can still do his job in leading the state amid scandals plaguing his administration, saying that governors can handle multiple situations at a time. During a coronavirus press briefing on Wednesday, Cuomo was asked whether he could perform his gubernatorial duties amid investigations into allegations of sexual harassment leveled against him and his handling of the nursing home deaths amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Cuomo maintained that he is doing his job, opening vaccination centers across the state and negotiating the state's budget, saying that his administration is making good progress. They don't even understand the nature of the job. The nature of being governor says always is multiple institutions to deal with, he said. I had to deal with Trump as president, talk about distractions. That was a distraction. As for the allegations of sexual harassment by multiple current and former female staffers, Cuomo said they are being reviewed by the New York State Assembly. That state attorney general, Letitia James, is also investigating the claims that he is cooperating with the reviews. Governor Andrew Cuomo listens to speakers at Grace Baptist Church, a new pop-up vaccination site in Mount Vernon, New York, on Monday, 22nd of March 2021. His general counsel interrupted, saying that every individual is protected and that they are taking measures but would not comment further. There are rules and conditions how people make complaints after handled, and we are following those, Cuomo said. Meanwhile, was hit on social media during the briefing just after moments into beginning the commented on the attire of two women next to him. Cuomo's press conference came after the New York State Assembly's Judicial Committee held a preliminary virtual hearing Tuesday with attorneys from Davis Polk and Wardwell. The law firm hid the conduct of Buddy's investigation into the allegations. 8 women, including current and former aides, have accused Cuomo of sexual harassment and other unwanted behavior. Given the breadth and seriousness of the issue under investigation, we expect that the timing will be in terms of months rather than weeks. Assembly Judiciary Committee Chairman Charles Levine, a Democrat, said during the hearing. Lindsey Graham, the first woman to accuse Cuomo of misconduct, has described the state's impeachment probe as a sham, and she will not cooperate with the investigation. Some lawmakers have urged the probe is blocking timely action. Several prominent New York Democrats, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, have called on Cuomo to step down in response to the allegations. Cuomo has denied wrongdoing and insisted he will not resign. Critics have questioned the Assembly's decision to appoint Davis Polk and Wardwell due to the potential conflict of interest. Dennis Glazer, a former partner at the law firm, is the husband of State Supreme Court Chief Justice Judge Janet DeFeo, a Cuomo appointee. If Cuomo were to be impeached, DeFeo would cast a vote on whether to convict. Davis Polk attorneys and Levin said they examined the situation and determined there was no conflict of interest. Dennis Glazer, a former partner at the law firm, is the husband of the State Supreme Court Judge Janet DeFeo. Levin said he served Cuomo's office with a non-retaliation notice to protect potential witnesses. Charlotte Bennett, another former aide who alleged that Cuomo asked her if she ever slept with older men, raised questions about the probe in a statement through her attorney. Whilst Ms. Bennett is committed to cooperating with all appropriate governmental inquiries, including the impeachment investigation, questions remain about the independence of his inquiry. Bennett's attorney Deborah Katz said in a statement, "If there is even a hint of political influence in the impeachment investigation, it will taint the entire proceedings." Here lies the end of the foreign story. Stay tuned as I fetch you the entertainment news.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of Hits Freak Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tune.
You're still logged onto Hits Africa Radio. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Hits Africa Radio. Now let's do some entertainment news. God will punish church members who prosper but refuse to take care of their pastors. Bishop Charles Ajahn Asari of Perez Chapel fame has made it emphatic that God will judge church members who are doing well and are not taking care of their pastors adequately. Teaching his congregation about the reward of the man of God on Sunday, 21st March 2021 at the Perez Dome, teaching his congregation in Jobulu, the founder of Perez Chapel International said the church members must reward their pastor according to the material blessings bestowed on them as a result of his continuous prayers and intercession for them. According to Bishop Ajahn Asari, some church members started attending church when they had one car or house, but now they have multiple cars and houses. It is not too much to say, "My prophet, this is yours." The change, Bishop Ajahn Asari noted, must affect his salary, home, clothing, and children's education. Sowing financial seeds in the life of your man of God prepares you for your harvest. He relied on Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teaches in all good things. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. To drive home his point, if you don't communicate material things into the life of your man of God, you are deceiving yourself and mocking God, he pointed out. As a reminder, Bishop Charles Ajahn Asari is a Ghanaian pastor who founded the Word Miracle Church International, later Perez Chapel International, a Pentecostal charismatic ministry in Ghana. He is the founder of Precious TV, chancellor of the Perez University College, and author of several books. In other stories, masturbation is not sin but the beginning of madness, says Councillor Lushot. Fearsome Ghanaian councillor George Lutherot has set the record straight that masturbation isn't a sin in the sight of God, but it leads to madness. In a virtual chat among Sancratcher of Castle FM, Fame made it emphatic that it is nowhere scripted in the Bible that masturbation is a sin, but physically it has its own side effects. To his best knowledge, if one masturbates, he or she develops a mental deficiency, and that will equally lead to madness in the near future. He also noted that inasmuch as he sees masturbation not as a sin, it reduces the age God given to you, because indirectly you are denying God's will and purpose for humankind. For the purpose of clarity, masturbation is a common activity. It is a natural and safe way to explore your body, feel pleasure, and release built-up sexual tension. It occurs among people of all backgrounds, genders, and races. However, excessive masturbation can harm your relationships and everyday life. Other than that, masturbation is a fun, normal, and healthy act. Here lies the end of the news for this morning. Stay tuned as I bring you a recap of today's news. Do not let people feel marginalized in Ghana. Malaria in Islam. Aggrieved Kejetia traders threaten to petition. Court is the only place to determine if Rastafarianism is a religion or not. I didn't know I will marry this year. This and many other stories I brought your way this morning. My name is Abena AhWINIE. Stay tuned as we bring you more entertainment and music. This is Hate Africa Radio. You are logged on to it on our website www.hateafricaradio.org. Have a blessed morning.